You're listening to Hayes Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio.
All right, guys, happy Sunday. We're back with another episode of Behind the Leaf with Alec and Cassie, where we take a little bit of an in-depth look at industry leaders and people and how they got involved into the industry and all that. So we have an amazing guest with us today, someone very cool.
We met him at MJ BizCon, which was awesome. And we were just saying, I was like going through my phone. I'm like, who is Jesus Hands? Where does that name come from? And so we're here with Zack, Jesus Hands, a.k.a. From Hollyweed. Excited to have you here. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Always. It was when we met you at MJ BizCon, we were like, oh, we got to get him on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. And for those of you who don't really know who Zack is, he's the main guy behind turning the Hollywood sign into saying Hollyweeds.
Which is pretty dope. That's awesome.
That's pretty dope.
That's right. Thank you so much, bro. Yeah. Fucking A. Yeah, what a fucking mission.
Yeah, how was that like? Like that must have been that must have been a mission right there.
Yeah. It was
a lot of prep work, a lot of
like mental preparation, I think, and just trying to visualize it happening, I guess, more than anything. I had the thought of doing it like a couple of months before I actually did it, and then like kind of went out and like scouted the sign. You know, I grew up in California and like, you know, native to like Southern California, so I've been around LA and Hollywood and this and that, but I never went up to the sign before until right before, and used some sheets and clamps to attach and modify the letters.
Wow, that must have been a feat. Like, damn.
So just to do that was your first time ever up at the Hollywood sign. Yeah. So you're just like, screw it, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking do it. Yeah, that's right.
That's great.
And so, like, you know, it fucking I did it in light of legalization in California. So, you know, it was like, I don't know, like a beacon of some sort to cast across the nation.
To light the way.
Yeah, light the way.
I mean, as an artist, that definitely makes a statement. I mean, what were the reactions to that?
Oh, dude, it was like something I couldn't really fucking, expect, or I didn't have any expectation. I didn't even think it was going to stay up, honestly. And
you think they would see it like right away? Yeah. And be like, nah, take that
fucking thing down. Yeah, exactly. And so I went home, went to bed, and woke up, and it was just like fucking all over the news, like the mainstream media, and I'm like, whoa, and all over social media, and like had friends blowing me up, like, bro, what the fuck? This is everywhere. Like, you did this? Like, yeah, bro, okay, you know. And so it was like,
damn. At that point, I'd be waiting for like at my door.
That's pretty much what happened, bro. They started fucking throwing fire pretty quick, and like, we're gonna come. You need to turn yourself in, and you're gonna be charged, and da 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 da.
Damn.
You know, so it was like, the reactions were mixed, but I think overall pretty fucking positive, and it felt really, you know, like, I don't know, it was surreal.
Yeah, I can't imagine like going to bed, doing that like passion project, then waking up, and then all of a sudden it's everywhere. And everyone's talking about it.
Going to bed, like, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be up
that's
all
true.
night. Yeah, bro. I'd be like, I don't know.
That's exactly it. It was like surreal and hard to fucking kind of manage all the insight. Thank you. All of like the press coverage and the people wanting to talk to me, it's like kind of like overnight happened. And it's like I went from like being kind of like I don't want to say nobody, but like nobody to somebody overnight. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? And it's
like the regular artist trying to make his way and all that stuff, just like we all are out here.
Thanks.
And it was just that one catalytic thing. You're like, I had this idea, but I'm fucking going for it. I'm putting it all out there.
Yes, exactly. And so it's like I've been a creative my whole life. You know, I've done fucking music production and played in bands and this and that, and fucking, you know, really that was really my step into being a visual artist and like taking it, you know, by the horns and being like, all right, this is what I'm gonna fucking do. You know what I mean? I got a lot to say and a lot of things on my mind and a lot of questions that I feel like I can ask in the way of visual arts, and that was one of them. That was a big one for me. You know what I mean? And so
when was that for people who don't know out there?
So that was January 1st, 2017.
Okay. So about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, 6 actually
years,
now.
Yeah, 6 years.
Wow.
Shit just moves quick. It feels really weird because it's like
Because like up until that point, everything feels like it's moving slower. Just like not at all. You feel like you're sitting in the same spot forever.
Exactly that. It's so slow, and now I feel like, bro, I need this shit to slow down. Like pump the brakes a little bit. It's like it's happening so fast, and I'm like, whoa, I see the thing where people are like, life's short, and fucking it happens, and it's just a blink of an eye. I'm like, oh, whoa, yeah, it does.
Yeah. We started this this podcast in October, and we're already like, by the time we're done recording this session of episodes, we'll have like 20-some episodes
almost
already.
2 dozen.
Yeah,
Shit went fast.
Whoa, that's a bunch. You guys have been putting in work. That's great.
And being able to talk to some really cool people, and like we said earlier, meeting you at BizCon, like we got so many leads, and like
hell yeah,
just like general interest in being on the show, because I feel like when you start something like that, like creative, you just don't really know if people, like how people are going to respond, or if they want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So like seeing like that overwhelming response was really awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
And encouraging, definitely.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, MJ Biz was good. I feel like that's a good, I mean, if anybody wants to get in the industry or see what the industry is doing on, kind of a global scale, that's the place to fucking go.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just the amount of people that are there in general. It could be, for your first time, it could be very, very intimidating.
Oh, it was for me.
For your first
It was
time,
a lot.
very intimidating. But once you get past that and you start getting on the floor and talking to all these different companies and people out there, and you go, wow, these people just started just like I am right now.
That's right.
And all these things, and they went through the same problems and hurdles that I have to go through and all this stuff, and they offer advice and not just try and like make the industry just for them.
Yes.
I feel, because a lot of people out there, they'd be like, oh, you're struggling? Okay, cool, have fun. Like, not gonna help.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Like, oh, fuck, bro.
It's like, no one helped me, so I'm not gonna help you kind of deal. When the industry is this industry is kind of like the opposite. People are willing to help, give advice, be like, hey, if you ever need anything, reach out.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't walk up to the Hollyweed table, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I feel like people need to remember, just like shoot your shot, because I feel like you never know.
That's right. Shoot your
definitely.
shot.
100%. So has cannabis always been an inspiration for you? Did you get into it a little later in life, early in life? What was your first experience with it, I guess?
Fuck, my first experience is a funny one. It was with my older sister, Malia. She fucking, I was 12. And she's like 17, 18 at the time.
Okay.
And we're at her boyfriend's house, and she fucking got me high. She pulled out a bong, and I took a bong rip for my first hit, and then we sat and watched the movie Friday. And I remember turning like small, like a fucking French fry, like real small. I felt like, whoa, I just shrunk. Like, whoa, I just like transcended life. But I just remember, I remember laughing so hard at the part where the kid like kicks down the trash cans. But it was just like me being a kid laughing at some dumb shit and being super stoned. And so like that was my first introduction to weed. And at that time I was living in Orange County, and it was fucking really interesting. It was just like a really special time in my life. It was like into like counterculture, like skating and surfing and the beach, and just like the Orange County lifestyle, and smoking weed was a big part of it for me, especially while skating. And so like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that,
100%.
Like that was the shit right there. And so yeah, that was kind of my first fucking introduction to it. And since then, it's pretty much been a part of my life. Ever since. It's been good and bad times. That's part of the reason like I was sent to this like boarding school in Mexico for like a year. It was because I was smoking weed.
Oh wow! Holy shit!
And ditching school. Oh yeah, bro. It was like, and it was like a really gnarly place to be. Like a really pivotal part in my life, which is like now I can like sit and kind of talk about it and laugh about it. But like at that time it was hard. So it was like I was put away for this fucking place that was like really gnarly for 13 months for smoking weed, and like by default not going to school, questioning the whole system.
That's
wild.
So but then after that, I came into fucking to growing weed.
Okay.
I had a delivery service. This is like in my early 20s. Prop to 15 days, and that taught me a lot about the industry and the hard work and the fucking labor and sacrifice that goes in to growing weed. It's not like you can
not
just throw a seed and fucking, you have this fire ass crop. Like, bro, it's not how it works.
Nah, it's not like growing your everyday vegetable garden
It's
at home, or your house plant, keeping like your house plant alive at home. There's a whole science
new animal
100%.
behind it, and especially when you're consuming this as medicine or recreationally, it's to get a good consistent product takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of practice.
100%. It's a lot of fucking work, you know, like you said, a lot of practice and like trial and error. And I think, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm super grateful for the plant, you know. In that
we all
sense,
are.
You know, I'm fucking good, bro. I won't be able to finish the interview. It's just fire though.
Yeah, I think that like for us being out here, it's so different like than where we're from. Like the cannabis culture out here is huge, and like growing up in it, I can't imagine, because for us it was so different. It was like taboo and shit, and like people didn't want to talk about it. And even now, like we bring it up and you just don't know like what reaction.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, he was just telling me that in North Carolina. It's like,
in North Carolina, it's still considered like the Bible Belt where we are, kind of.
Gotcha.
So you still got that very strong mentality, but cannabis is everywhere. It's hard not to be in a place where you can't find your people and stuff like that.
Yes.
So we have found like a crowd and all that stuff, but it's nothing like it is here. It's still like hiding behind buildings and dumpsters and stuff to go smoke.
That stresses me out.
Yeah,
but it also gives me like some fucking nostalgia. There was a time here where it was like that.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah, because like feels like your mind, like, oh, this reminds me of like back in the day or some shit, and it's like nostalgic feeling of like when you had to like smoke out of a like Arizona can or like an apple or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's really good to see cannabis in California and Colorado, where we go all the time, to see it being used in such a normalized setting.
That's got to be like super comforting and like,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's super good. It's comforting, but it's also kind of like weird at first too.
Like a culture shock.
Yeah, like a culture shock. You're
definitely.
like, wait, this is like people just do this out in the LA. This is crazy.
What?
Like we went to Montana for our first time, and we got sent to this concert, and it was an outdoor venue, a small thing, but they had this
little smoke shack.
I like turned the
cool.
corner, it's a smoke shack on the side. I was like, what the fuck is this? Turned out it was a dispensary, basically. They're like, yeah, we sell weed and you can smoke it here on property, you know that, because we know the owner and everything. I was like, damn, this is freaking awesome. I was like, this is really cool. I'm like, I've never seen this before. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, we were talking to them for a while, and it was a great experience. It was great to see cannabis being used like that.
Dude, that's super, super dope. It's a good reminder, though, too, to see, like, there's still places in the country that are not like California or Colorado or any other place that's legalized. It's like, this shit is still barely breaking through. You know, it's like we're so far advanced. We have, like, branding and packaging and fucking, like, full-on brands in California, but other states are barely touching it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, in some states don't even have programs.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like we're just, on the East Coast, we're just like a good decade behind.
Oh, shit.
Like, we say that all the time. It's like, we got a while to go.
I mean, New York just became recreationally legal, and they just opened up their first dispensary.
That was that like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, like a few weeks ago or something like that. And they just opened it. It was a good success from what I've heard. But like, it's something that probably should have happened like 5-6 years ago.
Yes, exactly. I guess it probably just comes down to like the politics of, you know,
definitely.
just
Like
the red tape of
I've
stuff.
said before that this country has a hard time multitasking on different issues at once. It's like the cannabis issue came up, then it kind of just gets like
pushed,
sidetracked,
you know,
and pushed to the back burner every time something new comes up or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we can. It's kind of like the redheaded stepchild of like political policies here. It just kind of gets like forgotten about in the corner until like it says something.
Yeah, that's right. And I feel like there was a lot of like good eyes on cannabis at the beginning of the pandemic. It was like, oh wait, fuck, this shit's fucking pandemic proof. Like this one's good in the past for like, it's like a necessity. It's like, well, that's big moves. And then like, again, it starts to fizzle out. And then you have like the Banking Act thing was about to go through and then it stops dead. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Are we doing this or not? Let's go.
Yeah, what's going on?
Are we committing? Are you really going to let us finally like do what we need to do in this industry? Or are you going to just keep
You're still playing games,
us around still? but it's crazy. It really is. But so we're talking about the Hollyweed sign, and you were able to take that, speaking about cannabis, into make it into your own cannabis brand now.
My own brand.
Launching.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's been a long fucking road. I'm just gonna start with that. This shit is not easy.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't matter what variation of a business project you're trying to go into. It's a lot of fucking work. And so
yeah,
it's like,
definitely. And I think people don't realize how much of a difference and of challenges businesses have, especially plant touching businesses.
yes.
Like you're actually have a cannabis brand. It's not like a packaging brand or
That's right.
a storefront. Like it's you're actually touching the plant. People don't realize that there's a whole new set of rules and regulations and laws that go with that.
Oh, and it's endless and it's ever changing. That's the part.
Yeah,
So
it can change overnight, basically.
It costs a lot of fucking money, and a lot of really smart fucking people to get it done. It's not just like a me thing. There's like a whole team behind this shit that's fucking literally running point on it to help me fucking make it something that I always believed it could be. And the fact that I share that with my partners and they have the same vision and beyond, even bigger than what I know, it's like that's where you win, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like I want to win in the way that like when I win, everybody else wins, and I think that's what matters.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And especially if you have people on your team who are just as passionate about it as you, like that's the only way to get anywhere.
That
right?
100%.
Or like you said, that they have different ideas or vision than you do, and it's like, oh wait, that's really dope. Maybe we should go in that direction.
Yes,
like you don't know everything.
That's exactly right. And it's like the second you start to think you know better than everybody, you're already losing, because there's people who understand the right concept.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Been people out there doing this for decades.
Yes,
and they know what they're doing, and someone who just comes off the street and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing." It's like, bro, you don't have a clue.
That's right.
And I feel like that's another big issue with like things nowadays. Like young kids, like our age, like when we went to school, we're basically set in the mindset that you have to know everything right off the bat.
Yes, yes.
Basically. And then when you get thrown out into the real world, that's not really how it works.
Oh yeah.
And like you get all these other guys, you're like, yeah, that's not how the real world works. Like you gotta basically forget everything you learned, and you're gonna relearn it backwards.
That's right. That's an interesting topic too, of just the way we're educated and the way we think. It's like the plant is freeing of the mind in that sense. It's a freeing of the programming that we're born into, and it's like
true, very true.
And it's okay to find a new way outside of that and pretty much create your own path, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
It helps you with that out of the box thinking that they want to keep you in.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Exactly that. And it's like, that you nailed it, dude. It's funny. It's like right out of the box, you can change your thinking, or you know what I mean. You can.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah. I mean, talking about it, let's get into some of the stuff you brought today. What's Hollyweed's about?
So, some of the things we brought. Well, first is like this hat. So it's like the high. It's like with that little low eye. It's when I'm high,
this thing's dope.
When I'm high, my eyes are low. And it's like that's
okay.
So
I like that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's like something that like I was making some art pieces, and that kind of happened by accident. The eye just like kind of dropped lower than the other letters was on this like cutout, and I was like, wait, that's how it should be.
Happy accidents, man. Yeah,
that happy accidents, bro. That's exactly right.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
So but. Hollyweed is like much bigger than just this packaging. I guess I hate to even use the word lifestyle, because I feel like it sounds corny as fuck.
Cannabis is a lifestyle.
But it is a lifestyle. It like leads into all areas of your life.
Your life, exactly. So it's like that's what it is. And but these are some of the products. It's like we have a 6-pack of pre-rolls, some jarred flower, tincture. And these are our Delta 8 and HHC products.
Okay.
They're all available direct to consumer on Hollyweed.
So you guys just don't just do THC based products. You do Delta 8, CBD, everything.
And it's like that's a whole other conversation that I've had with how to like debate, because I grew up smoking weed, and like to have all these other cannabinoids come out from the hemp plant, which is its cousin to cannabis, and they're like, I consider it all a part of the same plant. And it's like, why only utilize THC Delta 9 when you have all these other deltas and cannabinoids.
Oh
that-
yeah, we've had that
have-
conversation.
have
Oh
purpose.
yeah, we
Mhm.
definitely had that conversation before. Like I hate to see where the market's going now, and especially in California with these high base THC contents in
Yes.
flower and
You're forgetting about all the
dispensaries and
good stuff in
everything.
there. You
Yeah.
know, all
and
the
with
other
that,
things.
people forget all that THC is taking up room with all those other cannabinoids that would naturally be there.
That exactly.
And then with like I always try and stay away from distillate and all that stuff, like live resins, where they like live resins and full spectrum concentrates that have all those cannabinoids in there and not just completely stripped down to THC and CBD.
It's super important to make sure that you have, full spectrum, like you said. Otherwise, you're going to be missing a lot of the benefits.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you could be suffering from bad side effects. It's like
Oh, 100%.
it goes both ways.
I think that just really shows like education too. Like the average
Yeah.
person may not know that, but then when you go and try to buy something, it's like you're not being taught that either. It's like, oh, like, let me kind of just like get this sale or whatever.
Yes.
So it's you got to be careful and you got to do your own research because you can't trust that someone else is gonna,
that it's like
tell you.
do the research. That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Like educate yourself on the stuff. It's like I feel like there's a misconception on educating yourself and that like you're going to be swayed into some like weird propaganda against weed. And it's like, well, weed has its pluses and minuses. It's
Like anything.
Everything does.
Yeah, just like everything. It's like it's not like untouchable, and I hate that there's like this like rhetoric of that in the industry. At least like there was, at least from my coming up, and it still a little bit is. It's like there's everything in moderation. That's just what it is.
Of course,
You know what I'm saying?
of course. It's like
I
people
agree.
talk to me people bring up to me all the time. They're like, oh, like, don't you think smoking weed's bad for you? And I go, well, I think smoking anything is bad for you,
Nah.
but I don't think the actual cannabis itself is bad for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Because
That.
like when you're burning something, you're combusting something, you're inhaling a hot air, and like with the paper and everything else, you can try and be as healthy as possible.
Yes.
But it's not the most healthy way to consume, and everybody knows that. But it's what we're all accustomed to, and it's what we like.
There.
And I tell people, like, if you don't want to smoke, you can eat it. You can use tinctures. You can
That's right.
vape. You can
That's right.
you can
Use
do
topicals,
you can
you
use
can use
topicals. You can do a lot
That's
of
right.
things. I have we had the host from Babes and Buds on, Christina, and she was showing us one that's a powder and you mix into your water and you can just drink it.
Shit.
So
Right.
like, and it had no flavor or anything. So
There's something
there's
for everyone.
something for everybody.
There
out
you
there.
go.
Like however
That's
you
right.
want to consume. And I think like back to the education part of it, it's a lot of people don't know all the different ways.
Yeah.
And I feel like doing this and like talking about it is the only way people are gonna, know what's safe and what's not and what should I lean towards and all that. But
Yeah.
definitely research on your own.
That.
Yeah, it's like we have friends that live in very, very non-cannabis friendly states like Alabama and stuff like that, and they've been in dispensaries for the first time ever, and they're like, "Wow, we didn't realize that this could be such like a classy, like upscale experience."
Yeah, she
Yes.
texted me.
And
She's
not
like,
going
"Oh, it's
to
classy."
like go buy weed off of like your drug dealer in a Walmart parking lot in a sandwich bag.
That. The parking lots and Ziploc bags. Like, dude, that is it.
That
right
was
there. That's good.
you hope you got a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
You hope that it was like crushed up in tinfoil.
Oh
or
my
it's
God,
like,
so janky.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure people have stories out there of shit they've gotten their weeding over the years.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh my God, crazy stuff.
That was too funny though when my friend texted me and she was like, "Yeah, we're in Vegas. It's like my first time at a dispensary."
Oh shit.
And she's like, the bud tender they were talking to in Vegas, when she was explaining like what the vibe is with cannabis back in Alabama, he's like, "Wait, what?" It's like a whole different fucking world,
yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
I'm sure. It's like
Oh,
going
yeah.
into the future.
Exactly.
Definitely. It must be said. It's like, ugh.
And for anyone who, loves the plant, is passionate about the plant, like, I don't know, you're going to find your way out here. Like, we
Yes.
already are. Like,
Yeah,
we're planning on
yeah,
moving
yeah.
to Colorado in May. Like, be able to
Yeah.
go to those events, meet
Wow.
people, like, do what we want to do and, like, not have to worry about all that crap.
Yes, it's like I'm sure coming out here and then going back home and I'm like, well, fuck, well that's weird. I could just do it over there, but I can't do it over here.
Yeah,
Like, what the
it
hell's
doesn't
going on
make
here?
any sense.
Especially as you smoke and your mind is just open. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
doesn't
Right.
make
Yeah,
sense.
it-
You're questioning everything.
and like
Mhm.
with that, like with smoking and having that mindset, you're around a majority of a population that does not have or share that same mindset as you, or that that way of life.
Yes. And so it's like
that's like what we were talking about before, like the way of life with all like with cannabis and this, like it's like when you're not surrounded by it, basically it's like birds of a feather. You're gonna flock towards people who are like you.
That part. Yeah, it's got to be fucking inspiring just to see people doing it in states and like whole populations changing. It's like considering California has like 40 million people. It's like think about
that's wild.
That's a big chunk of the
insane.
United States to move into legalization. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, I don't know what the population is in North Carolina, but I can't imagine like it's that much.
Oh, nothing compared to that.
Yeah, nothing compared to that.
It seems like, well, it also says something about the people there that they're, it seems weird, but maybe a little bit of both in both states, but like Californians are easily moved, where it's like people in North Carolina are fucking strong in their ways and their values. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Like
shit.
a lot of people on the East Coast, like they don't fucking leave. Like they're just generations and generations, and they're there
stuck in their ways, and they don't want to change.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, I guess everybody has their choice, right? Fuck, if you don't want to change, you don't got to change. But it comes a point where it's like the majority kind of rules in a way. You know what I mean? As it should be.
The old guard will change out after a while.
I think it's cool though to see even those people who we think are stuck in their ways, like. I mean, even like my grandparents, like asking questions about cannabis now because we're doing this.
There we go.
So I think it's slow, but it happens.
Yeah.
Ever since we started this, we've gotten like thousands of questions from our relatives and friends and stuff like that back in New York and from everywhere about just being curious about like what we're doing in cannabis in general and all that they were either too nervous or afraid to ask or just didn't know what to ask, because they'd be like, oh, I listened to your show, I heard this, like where can I learn more about it or anything like
it's also like unlearning a lot of that generational stuff from the past. It is. Because like it's all this like info and like false propaganda that you've been fed for so long, and it's like, who do I believe? What's true? What's not true? Like where are you getting your info from, So
well, that's great. That's like serious influence on your guys' behalf to be, it's like it ripples outward. I'm sure like your grandparents are talking to their friends. Oh, my grandchild, you know what I mean? I'm doing this show about cannabis, and that's like
the word just gets
the
spread.
Conversation. You're starting conversation.
And it starts the conversation.
Yeah, my mom was just saying that. So shout out to mom. She,
mom.
Her friends from work were like asking her about the show because she's like, oh, my daughter does like a cannabis-based podcast, like, and they're curious. Like some people are like, oh, are you okay with that? Like some people are like that. And my mom's like, as long as she's happy, she's not hurting anyone.
Wow.
They're doing like they're educating people just in a different way than you're maybe used to.
There,
But for the overwhelming majority, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like where can I check it out? So I think that's awesome because it just slowly like, builds. Builds. There's like a huge network of people now who want to check it out, and like all the other content on Haze. I mean, it's all good shit.
Definitely. I mean, that's part of the biggest reasons like we do this is education and breaking the stigma, is normalizing cannabis in the world.
Normalizing it, and it's like cross country, bro. You're fucking just like planting your seeds and you know what I mean? That's great, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot coming out here, but it's worth it.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
Ballsy.
Yeah, people don't realize how much work, like even like owning your own business, and because that's basically what all this is, and owning your own cannabis business and doing all this stuff yourself, being an entrepreneur in general is a very hard thing to do, and a lot of people out there just don't even take that first step in doing.
Yeah,
and if
you're
out
still
there,
figuring it out, like we don't really know what we're doing. We're just chugging along.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
action.
100%. Like that's the only way it gets done. And if you're out there and you're doing what you think you want to do, and it's making you happy, just keep doing it, because eventually it like Hollyweeds, like you, like us, like eventually will come to fruition, and like you will get there. It feel like you're moving 1,000 miles an hour.
Yes, that part, bro. That's you nailed that. You summed that up perfect. An entrepreneur spirit. You know what I mean? Like seriously.
When did Hollyweed start? I don't know if I asked that. I know it's probably been in the works for a long time.
So the end of 2018. Is when I started. I didn't have any thought of doing any branding or even monetizing what I did. I just thought, like a pure intention and creative, like integrity of, it's like always been like, I don't want to like sell out, I guess is the word. I don't want to sell out and just like monetize it. But then I started seeing people in the space using it. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? They're using it to monetize.
This is my idea. I should be getting that. Is anybody who should be doing this? It's just me.
It should be me. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, exactly that. So that's kind of what like launched me into it. And then, been at it ever since, gone through fucking some shitty partners and some good
obstacles.
Obstacles, some good learning experiences. I think that's what it comes down to. But, eventually landed me where I am today with the right partners and creative team. And it's like, it's only, upward from here, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, and that's how these businesses and good businesses are built and stay open for long periods of time, is that you have to go through all those learning experiences and hardships and a partner or two sometimes maybe and stuff like that to really know what to look for and get that experience in running and owning that business.
That part.
Because nobody you out there you see running a Fortune 500 or a multi-million-dollar business has gotten there overnight, first time, first shot.
We were just talking about 100%. How, like, also, it's not failing. People will be like, I failed, and then just stop. And it's like, well, it's not a failure. It's just getting you to where you want to go. Yeah. And I think that's like the biggest shift I've had recently. I think it's super important because we just had Adelia, shout out to her, one of the co-founders of Blunt Brunch, and she was saying that she had to like shut down one of her projects, one of her businesses, and at first she was like, looked at it as a failure, and she's like, well, you know what, maybe it was just time for me to do this next thing.
It's exactly, you guys nailed it on that. It's like you have to go through these like trials, and it's like you said, it doesn't happen overnight, and there's fucking a lot of learning, but it's often misconceived as you failed. Okay, well, you shouldn't do this. It's like, no, it's actually the opposite.
You should keep doing it.
Yeah. like the only part of it that I think is like when you do fail is like when you do let that stop you.
Yeah, that's right. That's
like,
right.
Like when you,
exactly
right. you sit there and you give up. Like, no, that's the moment you failed. Not if you keep going and you use that as a learning experience, then you haven't.
That's right. Then you've grown.
And it's like nice talking to like people like you and other people in the industry who have gone through all that shit, and it's like, okay, that's normal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't
failing.
easy, man.
Yeah, so 100%.
It wasn't 100% easy.
100% normalized failing, and like that gets into what I was saying before about like we are taught as from a very young age, like you have to know everything right off the bat.
And that there's only one path.
Walking into the job interview, walking into the meeting room, you should know. You should be the smartest person in the room. You should know everything. And
it's not realistic.
It's just not.
Yeah.
It just really isn't. And when we get thrown out into that real world like that and we go, oh shit, like this is nothing what we were told it was going to be like or whatever. I'm having to learn everything backwards and sideways now on the spot, and people get really discouraged.
That's right. People get discouraged, and it's like it's no accident that a lot of us share a common theme in that, and that it's happening in a time where like we're in an age of information and everything's fucking changing and evolving like 20 times as fast as it was when we were kids. Like,
definitely.
Via social media and our devices. It's like I recently did, well, not recent, but like last November 8th, I stopped using a cell phone.
Oh, I remember you telling us
that. Yeah, I was like, wow, like that's...
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I thought that was was cool.
I feel like a lot of people out there need to hear this one.
Yeah, dude, I think it's like, since that happened, I've been able to get more accomplished and more done than I ever have in my whole life. I've been more creative than I have and focused, and then within that, I've done more art. The brand is in a better spot than it's ever been. It's like, and we're about to be like in another... like cycle of greatness. I don't know how else to say it, bro, but it's about to fucking pop the fuck off.
That's awesome.
And it's like, that's all happened. I'm like closer with the ones I love, and it's like, I'm in a better headspace. And I know a lot of people probably feel the same way about social media, especially. It's just like, you get on, you look at your shit, you scroll, you like some things, you see who liked your shit, and then you get off and you're like, oh man, like I don't feel better about myself.
You get that brain fog, like almost like
we talk about this all the time.
But like that's what that's programmed to do to you.
That, bro. And it's like, it's a really interesting thing, and it's like people got to come to their senses and realize there's life outside of the screen. And it's like,
Yes.
Right.
you know, it's like you said, bro, it's programmed. This thing is programmed to do that.
People do not realize that
cause brain jelly.
social media is a business.
Yeah, the
And
algorithms
since
are
you're
set
not-
up like
Yeah.
But
that.
you're not buying anything. You're the product.
Yeah,
Your
that's
data
right.
is the product. So the longer they keep you on there, the more data they get from you,
That.
the better for them. So they just have these like AI programs designed, and people are gonna be like, oh, like it's like the tinfoil hat wearing people with these things, but it's not. It's true.
Not.
Look
It's
it up.
real. It's a real
It's
thing.
real.
Yeah, there's so
thing.
many documentaries about this stuff,
Yeah.
and it's mind blowing how
Yeah,
they
that's right.
pick on your interests and what you're looking at, and it gets you caught in that cycle.
Yeah,
but then
that's right.
also caught in the cycle of comparison
That.
and validation for what you're doing, and that totally attacks people's sense of self-worth, and
That.
it's dangerous.
It's like, when has instant gratification ever been something that builds the human spirit?
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It causes
Yeah.
actually the opposite. It degrades it. And so we're getting this instant gratification of acceptance and, you know what I mean, exposure and
Right.
Yeah.
like
I think
ego.
social media.
Everything's this
Yes.
quick at the palm of your hand, and then when it's like not, you can see these generations of people, they like freak out when things aren't right away.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have a really weird impact on society.
So like I can see people out there thinking like, oh, like have you, and also I'm curious, have you seen any disadvantages, especially with building a brand or in your life in general, from not using like a cell phone or having
Was it
technology
such a
like that on
drastic
you?
difference?
I would say the biggest difference would be, or challenge for me, was not being able to just text my kids. I got a bunch
Right.
of, I got 4 kids.
Okay.
And my oldest is 15, and so it's like it's real fucking weird to just not be able to hit them right away. But
Right.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay though. I have a home phone.
Yeah.
So I have that and an answer machine. I started taking people's messages, but it was funny because you just hear it out loud in the house. You know,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Someone just leaving, and everybody gets to hear it. It's like, you know what
You're
I
sitting
mean?
there, you're like, why are you saying this? No, stop.
That it's like, no, I don't want everybody to hear my business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But and then it's also just taking advantage of email. Fucking email works great. If you're by your computer, you know what I mean. You just bust a move.
Yeah, like what's the difference? It's not that. I mean, I think in the beginning it definitely, well, you know, you could talk about it, but definitely was like getting used to it, right?
Yeah,
like that transition period.
100%.
Like
It feels like you're missing a limb. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really weird. It's like, I know
you're
a lot.
so used to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. You're used to it, and it's like, you know, with that, I stopped using social media, which has been a big, like I said, it's just it's a big fucking unplug, bro. It's like, you know, I was just telling my girlfriend, like, yo, it's weird. Like, you used to have to go, when you wanted to get away from everything, you would go out into to nature and be like, fuck, I'm in this cabin and away from everything. But now it's like, just unplug off your phone. You'll be away from everything. And you'll feel like, it's not going to even feel good though. It's actually going to feel like shit, like you're detoxing on some shit.
Yeah, it feels like you're
Mm-hmm.
physically, you're addicted to this device. Like people don't realize that. Like if like you wake up in the morning and you have your significant other next to you, and the first thing you do in the morning is you wake up and you check your phone. You're addicted
I've
to your
been
phone.
guilty of that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Like you're addicted to your phone.
100%. You're
Like-
addicted.
Like
Admit it.
And then like it just is. Like I do that. Like first thing you do is look at your phone, even if that's like an alarm clock or anything, because you know you swipe that alarm up, and the first thing you probably do is swipe it open, look at social media, see if you got any
Instagram,
messages,
Facebook,
Instagram,
all that
Facebook,
stuff.
100%.
all that stuff. And it's people don't realize that that's like what your first thought of the day is, to go on your phone.
They say though that what happens in your brain when you're on social media is like the same effect if you're on cocaine.
Oh, I could believe
when
it.
they do like the
100%. I could
MRIs
believe
on
it.
your brain and
When
stuff,
they
like
look
the
at
same
brain
parts light
activity.
up when you're on social media.
It is freaking
and all that stuff, and that's why they
crazy.
say it's like it's basically an addiction.
That I would say I would recommend. I mean, don't do drugs, but I would recommend taking an eighth of mushrooms and then going on your phone and see how you feel. You'll get off that thing so fucking quick.
Oh my god,
100%. You'll be like freaking out. You'll see all the shit.
Yeah, I just started experimenting with like micro dosing and stuff.
Yeah, I
good.
haven't
How that
yet.
makes me feel.
He's
Great.
trying to get me
And,
on the train.
It's been quite an experience. It's been really cool.
Oh, it's a
like
game changer.
it's a game changer. Like this brain fog. Like I've like always like had like, and it like wipes you out during the day.
Yes.
Like I feel like we're like I'll microdose, and it just won't be like gone.
Won't be there.
Won't-
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
just
That's
gone.
crazy.
That's great.
Yeah, he's trying to get me on the bandwagon with that because, especially with my anxiety, he's like, it definitely will open up
100%.
your mind and
yeah.
make you feel better.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's kind of back to that whole like unlearning things people have said to you about it and like
Yes.
trying it for yourself because obviously everyone's experience is going to be different.
That's right.
And he also said like it's all about like the environment you're in and the mood
Yep.
and all of that.
Yep.
Because even when I'm consuming cannabis, if I'm already in like a shitty mental state, it's not gonna make
not-
it better.
Nah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like
100%.
me and my friends always like you always used to say, well, it's like shit. Now we're just like high and mad. like
That's
it's
no
like,
fun.
like if you feel a certain way in smoke, you're probably still gonna feel that way. You're just gonna be high and now feeling that
yeah,
way.
like, oh, it's not going to be
Like
fun.
fuck, I'm still pissed, but I'm we used to say that to each other all the time. Like we would like argue about something stupid. Like fuck, now we're just like high and mad.
That's so good.
Yeah, and like, but it's cannabis has been a crazy experience, and especially now with the world opening up to more naturalized and plant-based medicines like psilocybins and like mushrooms that don't even affect you psychedelically.
Yes.
And knowing what our diets do to us and all this stuff, it's like the world. I feel like the world's starting maybe to change back to a like a more healthier way.
It's better now that people are
We'll see.
recognizing
Yeah.
like and being mindful of like what they're putting in their bodies.
Yes.
Because that's like a huge thing. I feel like so many people are so quick to say like about cannabis, but it's like, do you know what like processed shit you're eating every day or
Yes.
whatever
It's
else
an
you're
easy
consuming?
target for them. Like, it's
Right.
good cannabis.
Yes, you're
fucking
right,
beat that
right.
fucker.
Yeah, it's like people are like, oh, like you sure you know what's in that? Like pesticides, what if it's laced, all that stuff. I mean, bro, there's
Laced,
more.
I love that
Well,
one.
Yeah.
I know, right? And like, I'm like, bro, people dying on the news are not ODing because they smoke the joint laced with fentanyl.
That,
No, man.
that part.
Like because any self-respecting cannabis consumer is
That's
no.
the furthest thing
It's
from
like
their mind.
furthest thing
Right.
from their mind. And two, if you did have a dealer and you got something that wasn't up to par, you're probably not going back to that guy.
That.
But
And so
his
that's
rep
just
is
bad-
done.
that's just
'cause
bad business
everyone's
on his
gonna
part.
know. Mm-hmm.
And like it's
It's
just
bad business.
yeah, it's bad business on their part. Like, why would you want to try and kill your customers?
But also like wanting to be for us, like wanting to be in a place where it's so like normalized is important too, because I feel like in other states, like sometimes you don't know like where it's coming from, where you're getting it from, and then you have to be like scared, and that's the
I
whole
would
like
hate that little like weird paranoia right before you
Right.
smoke. Like, fuck, is this gonna
Yeah.
be good? Like,
Is this gonna be good? You have a friend with you, be like, here, you tried this.
yeah, ugh. And like coming out here now, it's like crazy that people go
Yeah.
through that kind of shit.
But if you're out there and you're questioning, and you're not a cannabis consumer, you're questioning where your friends or your family members are getting their stuff from because you're worried, I would say first go into your kitchen and tell them and figure out where half the food in your kitchen comes from. If you don't even know where half the food in your kitchen comes from, right there.
Put it into perspective.
Yeah.
For you. It's like that. 100%.
You don't even know
agree.
what's in it.
Yeah, that's a great way to
Exactly.
fucking check people.
Oh yeah, I do.
and get them to step into some awareness. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I'll say that all the time. People are like, oh, like, how do you know for sure? Blah, blah, blah. I'll be like, I'll say all those things like no self-respecting person would ever like in this field would ever really want that or do that.
Yeah.
And two, I'll be like, bro, look in your own cabinet. I'd be like, can you even tell me where all that half this food even comes from? Really?
Yeah,
That.
this is like
Exactly.
natural.
Like,
It's
oh,
a
it comes
plant,
from-
bro.
That.
Oh, it comes from the factory. Like, bro, you even know where that factory is, where
That.
this is, where that. Like,
That.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
right.
lot of
People-
things.
There's so much people don't. Ignorance is bliss in this world.
Yes, very much
Ignorance is
so.
bliss.
So, sorry.
Oh, no,
Go
no,
ahead,
I
go
would say
ahead.
it's just like a matter of being, people like to be comfortable and they're not doing it. You know what I mean? Ignorance is bliss. That's it.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, kind of shifting gears a little bit, but if you can speak on anything that's upcoming or that you want to share with everyone about
Yeah.
Hollyweed, like what you're looking forward to, any
Yeah.
events, stuff like that.
Yeah, we're looking to a couple things. One, launch the THC in California, select stores. The market right now is just really fucked up in a lot of different ways. A lot of people, there's a lot of market consolidation happening. Is a nice way of saying the market's tanking. but the alignment I have with my partners in the THC space and is really positive. So yeah, we're launching THC, and then possibly Arizona and like Oklahoma and Michigan and these other states to come. Cool. But that will be probably later this year or probably next year. But and then possibly a party for 420.
Oh, cool.
Somewhere in
Nice.
Hollywood.
Very nice.
It's like our anniversary, so of launching the Delta 8 and HHC and CBD side of things. And so, we're going to probably have a party somewhere. I have some cool shit happening. We're going to be doing an art show in the summertime. It's like
Nice.
all like, kind of weed-centric, culturally influenced art that I make.
Artwork and all that.
Yeah, so, I'm excited to fucking share that with everybody.
So do you, it's like your artwork, is it mainly like paint, print-based sculptures?
Yeah.
Like, do you do everything? Like,
Yeah, bro, a little bit of, so you kind of just hit it all in the head. It's like sculptural, print. Like I just started to learn how to do screen printing.
Okay,
Which is
cool.
interesting. It's part of the thing of like not being afraid to fucking learn new things. As an artist, I'm like, my mind is
Yeah.
always wanting to fucking get my hands on something different.
Yeah, what's the next new avenue?
Yeah, exactly. And so like, I just took up screen printing a couple of weeks ago, but I got off a rough start because I wanted to do everything the best and like how like people who are super professional do it. And so it just like worked backwards to like where I probably should have started and where probably most people actually work out of in the space. Screen printing, but now I fucking feel like I'm an expert. I could fucking just do this shit all the time. And I got my creative partner and my girlfriend. She's also a fucking great artist, but we kind of tackle that together. It's kind of fun to work on learning something new with her.
That's cool.
She's in a totally different aspect of art in like the digital space.
Okay.
And I'm more, multi-discipline, just multimedia, pop art is what I like to consider it to be, because it's very culturally relevant and
definitely.
and just like on spot, ... But that's a very hard thing to keep up with. I'm just going to say because, well, it isn't now, but with social media, you have like the algorithm feeding you what's popular on the second. And so
Right.
people make art based on that. It may feel not relevant, but you'll see. I can't wait to share it with you guys because it's fun, bro. It's like meme influenced by memes, and
awesome.
I'm interested.
It's like something
That's
for
cool.
everybody to connect
Yeah.
to. It's cool, but like the recent screen printing stuff is a way. It's like influenced by Andy Warhol. He's like a big pop
Oh,
artist.
yeah, that's awesome.
And
Love
so
him.
it's like he did a bunch of screen printing, and it's like seeing the art in screen printing, bro. It's a fucking art, no matter even if you're doing it on T-shirts, this or that. But I'm doing it in the sense of on canvas, and it's fun. It's a fun medium to work with.
Yeah.
Also like some sculptural pieces that I'm working on. One that's gonna, I don't know if I could even say. Actually, I probably shouldn't because I signed a thing, but
Okay,
I didn't read it.
I know.
But it's gonna be coming out on.
I'm bad with that stuff too.
Right.
I like being an investor in the space. You're like every time talking about it, it's like, all right, sign this DNR, and it's like, all right, cool. It's like, wait, all right, now I got to remember what I can't talk about.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
the
oh,
NDAs.
shit, yeah.
Like, how long does this last for? Like, I gotta remember how long.
that. So, but there's some cool shit coming out on 420 as well.
Okay, so we'll
Which-
look forward to
yeah,
seeing
look forward.
that.
Yeah, I'm really excited. That's like it's a big one for me. And so that's happening. And then, just fucking rolling out the apparel and everything else. It's like 2023 is going to be a big year. I feel like, for the brand, for myself personally, and, I feel like for you guys too. I mean, what you guys have done so
Yeah,
far.
thank
it's
you.
like
Yeah, it's
guys
been
are-
fun.
Thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be. I feel like this is gonna be a good year. Hopefully 2023 is gonna be the turnaround year for a lot of people.
Yes.
Lots of growth. We're
Lots of
finally able to do the things we want to do again and try new things and be creative.
No surprise catastrophes, please.
No.
Yes, please. Oh, God. No more.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, it's gonna be great. I mean, like we have hopefully a lot of things coming down the road
Sick.
with moving, and then just this year in general, going to all the conferences and stuff like that. It's gonna be a busy year, but it's gonna be fun.
Yes, a very busy year.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it's cool. I wanted to touch on it before that. You said you and your girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
You do art together. I think that's cool that like you do separate things because like when it comes together, it must be like really
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh yeah,
that you can combine both disciplines,
like the
of
digital
art, too.
within your that's
that
cool.
Together.
art, the disciplines, bro. It's like she is highly detail oriented. Like a ninja, bro. Nothing's gonna get past her in her artwork, so that makes it so she has a very high taste level. And so I mean, I still fucking doubt it. I'm like, no, bro, you're just fucking stroking my chain here, bro. Or pulling my chain, stroking my ego. But she's not. She's a very honest. She's loyal, and she fucking, she brings that attention to detail, bro. It's inspired me so much to like work harder and be better and really be able to create the things that I envision and that I want to. Before it was like, years ago, big struggle to try to like execute what I imagined. I don't know what to say to like to help like convey that message. But now
get it across.
It's fucking way clearer because of her.
That's the hardest thing to do is just to figure out a way to convey and put down either in words or paper or art or anything what the message you want to get across.
Yeah,
like this is how we figured out how to get ours.
Yes,
right.
Across, and you figured out your avenue, and everyone's gonna figure out theirs soon. I feel like that's what people struggle with a lot.
100%, bro. That's exactly
it's like
right.
finding what works for you and also like what you want to do, because like we were talking earlier, I feel like a lot of the times we're always told there's like this one path, and then you, like for me, for instance, like going to college and studying something and then realizing it wasn't what you wanted to do, and then pivoting, and saying like, hey, let's find something else, and like trusting yourself to just like roll with it. Because like, I mean, I went to school for IT, so like it's a little bit related in a sense, but this is more like, broadcasting and all that. This is super fun to like do something you didn't think you were gonna do.
That's fucking awesome. I love to hear that, because it's like you guys are breaking out of molds. What I mean?
I originally wanted to be a police officer, and I went to college for criminal justice and all that, and then learning about it, I was like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. I was like, this is all about politics and bureaucracy and just kind of like covering your own, making sure like you cover your own ass, because there's so many different ways and avenues that the world's going nowadays that you can get like in serious trouble for being a police officer nowadays.
Dude, that is true, bro.
And I was like, this isn't what I want to do, and this isn't what I thought it was going to be.
It's also like scary realizing that though, and like, because now it's like, now what do I do?
Now what? Now what? Yeah.
It's like, now what? And then like I dabbled in real estate, and then I like became an investor and dabbled in cannabis, and it's where I've been. Cannabis is where I've been since. It's been great.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool though to like do this and like hear people's stories, because everyone in this space has like such a different thing. Like,
a different thing that brought him here, huh?
Right.
Yeah, different story. Yeah. But it's weird. It's like everyone has a different story, but they all kind of feel nostalgic when you hear them.
They're very relatable.
Like there's a weird thing about cannabis. Like everyone kind of relates to everybody in some way, shape, or form in cannabis.
Like the parking lot with the Ziploc bag.
Yeah. We've all been there. We've all done it.
100%.
Like we've all gotten that Ziploc bag that's been like, sure this is an eighth?
Yeah. All larfy and just like no buds. Like, what the fuck?
Is this mainly stem? Like, what is this guy?
Yeah.
Is that a seed?
Fuck it, I'm gonna grind it up anyways. Let's go.
Like, shit.
You know what's funny
Beggars
though?
Can't be choosers.
That reminds me of remember when we went to that grow in Montana?
Yes.
That we saw, and we met this girl there. She was really cool. She like did administrative stuff for the grow operation, and she was saying that she got her job because she was like a patient there, and she bought an eighth, and she went home and she goes, this is not enough.
Yeah.
So she like went back in and was like, yo, like, what the fuck? And she literally got a job off of that, and like it was just wild.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, it's cool.
It's
like those
so
like
different.
crazy experiences. Wild.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it really is crazy. But
that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing having you on the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's been great. We've definitely got to have you on again.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing this stuff
thanks for
too.
bringing all this stuff.
100%
Everyone,
enjoy.
Definitely go check out Hollyweeds when it is in stores, right? Because it's not yet.
Yeah, you can buy this online direct to consumer. So it's
okay.
Hollyweedcbd.com.
Hollyweedcbd.com. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you guys want to go check them out? Go check them out. Zach, it's been great having you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Do you have any shout outs?
I mean, pretty much just my business partners, my girlfriend, my kids. iSpire. I see their
Oh yeah,
shit right
iSpire
there.
Oh, yeah.
makes an amazing.
They do our devices.
device.
Oh, okay.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
That's
we love
gonna be very
iSpire.
cool.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have one.
Great.
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super good people. Adam's the shit. He's a good dude.
Yeah, definitely shout out to iSpire.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
So HollyweedCBD.com, and is Hollyweed? I know you're not on social media, but is Hollyweed on social media?
It is. I think there's one. I think there's on Instagram right now. It's Hollyweed CBD. We also have Hollyweed.LA, but that's going to be, I don't know. We're kind of rearranging our accounts and even our domain.
Okay.
That's going to change.
So it's in the works.
It's a lot like Hollyweed.com. There's some fucking idiot that has it. I don't know what happened there. But I met with him and he wouldn't take it. He was like, I want fucking $100,000. I'm like, dude, you're not
one of those guys.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about?
Bro,
All right,
talking
so
about?
well, it'll get there.
Yeah, right.
I'd be like, I'm gonna have the
Let's just throw it
same
out
name.
there.
I'm gonna put like a Z at the end, like something at the end just to make it different.
Wild. Well,
Put like an upside down E or something, like make it
That.
like slightly
Yeah,
different
a
or
little
something,
bit
so it's
different.
not the same, but
There you
basically
go.
the same thing.
we'll check out Hollyweed on the socials and the website because you can check out some of these products. And also look us up on Instagram at Behind the Leaf Pod. We're still growing our network on there.
Yes, go
So
please
reach
check
out,
us out.
drop us a follow.
Drop us a follow.
Sick.
If there is a Instagram for Hollyweeds, we will link it there.
Sick.
And everyone, it's been great having you guys listen to us. Stay happy, healthy, and high out there, and see you next time.
Till next time.
You're listening to Hayes Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio.